This is the Tom Barnard Podcast. Listen live weekday mornings, 8 to 9:30, or anytime you like as a podcast on the Tom Barnard app at tombernardshow.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
You damn right. That's all I have to say. Now, I was just talking to boys before the show started about the fact that one thing I love about my life is I got up early this morning. I didn't get up. I just kind of woke up early. And then as soon as the sun came up, I went out for a walk and I was having this wonderful time. And it's like, oh my God. I mean, it's cold. There's no question about that. But you get a nice walk in and all the rest of it and just having a wonderful time. I get back. The second I get back in this magnificent mood, there are these texts from business people. So I went from, God, am I happy to, I'm going to kill everyone. There was a big switch over very, very quick. I'm going to start massacring everyone in sight. That's all there is to it. I had a discussion last night because I do these speeches.
Yeah.
Once in a while about this, that, and the other thing. And I did ask the question, and every 100% agreement. People now in the world, not just in America, people in the world are meaner than they've ever been. God, people are mean. Why are people so damn mean right now? What is that?
Seems like the trendy thing to do is
it's trendy to be a prick. So what do you think, AJ? Why are people so damn mean?
I don't know. I feel like it kind of seeps in, like similar to how what's the old study where it's like if you have a library or like a shelf of books in your house, if you never even touch them, you're gonna like somehow absorb some of that knowledge. Similar to that is like you just have the news on in the background every day. You hear like certain commentary about the political climate and all this other stuff, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, maybe you don't pay too much attention, but it kind of seeps in because it seems very attack this person, blah, blah, blah. And so you get it in your head, it kind of nestles in there like, you know what? I got to be aggressive towards people. I got to always be on the hunt. I always got to have that gotcha type of mindset. So maybe that's what it is.
And of course, one of my best friends, that prick right now, is all I have to say. I love the guy. There's no question about it. And look, people know that I worked, for a long time in voiceover and radio and all the rest of it. So Catherine and I have made a nice living, and I'm very grateful for it. And that's why we try to help out whenever we can. But a friend of mine sent me a list of some of the biggest donations made to people in need, where their houses burned down. There are organizations where you can donate money that helps people out, right?
Yeah.
And this was an article about it. And there were 15 people that donated money to help people out whose, like I said, house burned down, or there's this, or there was a car accident, or whatever it is. And there were 15 people, but only 14 names were on the list. There was one name missing. And that name that was missing, when you put the other 14 people together and their donations, that one missing name donated more than all 14 of them put together, but that name was not put on the list. I mean, how horrible have people gotten? Explain that to me.
Was he not, or was the person not on the list because they didn't want to be on the list, or was it just
no. The person was not on the list because it was me.
Oh, okay.
That's why. Gotcha. I don't get treated like that anywhere else but other than my own hometown, man. There are people it's like, would you please get your head out of your ass and just shut up? Unless you're going to help, get the hell out of the way. Right?
And I love whatever, we're going to post this list and somebody goes, wait.
Hold up.
Not this guy. And the amazing thing is, the reason that Catherine and I do that is because I would not have survived if people hadn't given to my family when my father was taken away in a straitjacket to the hospital. People helped us by throwing a couple of bucks here, there, and all the rest of it, which is the reason I do it, because they helped me out when I was a little kid, my family. So now when I can help out, I help out now. It was a good thing going from absolute poverty to making some money and helping out other people in need. It's a really nice story, but that's not how some people see it.
No. And especially even with having a show, like you wouldn't have a show if people weren't tuning in and listening every day. And so if there's an opportunity where you can give back to the community that helps support you, it's something you want to do. So that makes sense.
What's this story now? Because I thought of both of you, because the show was about to start and all the rest of it. Henry Winkler was the first name I saw on the list. They're claiming now that all of these fires in LA were set by human beings.
I think that
What?
Yeah.
I think there's one or two fires that have been there. Like police have taken at least one person into custody.
Yes.
Over suspicion that it began with like arson, essentially.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't think it's all of them because I'm sure. I just don't understand. I've never been to California. I don't really know what it looks like out there in terms of like.
You don't want to go.
Yeah, right now. Especially I'm not looking at
you don't want to go out there right now.
But yeah, it sounds like at least one of them, there's like a heavy suspicion that somebody got arrested for it and taken into custody for arson.
And I could see how that, like if, let's say, however the first one starts, and then somebody's like, hey, this is a good opportunity.
Exactly.
For another fire. But also, like, that person, you're not getting out of jail anytime soon. Like,
never
billions and billions of dollars worth of damage and people are dying. Like, they might as well just give you the chair.
Okay, we got to take a break here in a minute, but here is how it always goes. And look, I love human beings. I adore my family. I married the perfect woman for me. I just adore her. So I love human beings. I have great friends. I don't care for my coworkers, but that's a different story. That whole situation. But would you people just calm down and just let life go forward? Because it went from one guy started a couple of fires to the entire blaze was set by human beings. Why? Why can't they just let it go, tell the truth? Now they're claiming that every single fire was set by a human being. That is complete bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, people got to just put the most polarizing, dramatic headline up there to get you to click it, and then they're like, well, actually, we mean that.
That's what some people are saying, but here's the
yeah, exactly. That's exactly. Some people say that. Calm down, everybody. I don't hear that anymore, by the way. I talk all the time about how much I adore my wife. We've been together for 45 years, been married for 41 years this year, later on in the year, we'll be married for 41 years. I adore the woman. I adore my children, my grandchildren. I have great friends, great coworkers. I have all these wonderful things. I don't hear that from a lot of other people. Is no one happy about anything? Then change your life.
Yeah.
No, I can't think of anything I'm happy about. So.
Oh, no.
Well, there you go. I mean, like working with Tevin, you already told me you hate working with Tevin.
Yeah, it goes without saying.
That just goes without saying. So, all right. But anyway, thanks for putting up with that. But I'm like, would you just leave me alone? I'm almost at the end of it now. I'll probably retire in the next year or two and, just go my own route. Just, could you give me a little breathing room for about, say, 18 to 24 months? What do you say?
No.
No?
No.
Not going to happen, AJ?
No, we're going to be suffocating.
All right. Thank you so much. I really appreciate just being here with you. That's all I'm saying. But the only reason I'm talking about this is because nobody else will talk about it. Right now, the world is probably, if not the worst, because the 60s were not great either, don't get me wrong, burning down, all these different things. North Minneapolis had burned down twice now in my lifetime. Plymouth Avenue was on fire, baby, in 67, I think? I think it was 1967.
Okay.
To watch the whole avenue on fire. It's like, oh, my God. But it was kind of cool because I was only 15 years old and I was drinking beer while watching it burn to the ground.
Right. Yeah. You're not old enough to like fully grasp what's actually going on and the ramifications. And you're like, it's exactly. On fire. But
sipping on a bud.
It's funny time that you mentioned Henry Winkler because now that story popped up on.
Oh, did it?
And they're like, celebrities are going, this fire doesn't look like the rest of them. Like you just look at a burning field, definitely arson.
It's got a different hue.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. This is my fire. It's like, what?
Okay.
People are nuts. People are crazier than they've ever been. That's all I have to say. All right, we got to take a break and get some stuff going. But one thing I do like about it, and I will move on, and hopefully I'm giving people a great example. I read 3 things this morning that pissed me off way over the top. So instead of coming on the show and going, I I'm going to make fun of you. I'm going to ridicule you. I'm going to have fun with what an asshole you are. Right?
Absolutely.
Oh, AJ doesn't respond. You see that? You thought I was talking about him.
Nodding along.
I'm nodding along, baby. All right, we'll take a break. Got a lot of stuff going on this morning, ladies and gentlemen. Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? No, actually, today it does not. It makes me feel great, actually. Sometimes the anxiety from wondering if you've saved enough can be overwhelming. You know that. But what if I told you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? My guy, Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk, can sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk, never sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Do not let your financial worries give you an ulcer. That's number one. Or keep you from calling Josh right now. That's number two. Well, actually, that's number one. The ulcer's number two. His 48-minute no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608 and set up your free 48-minute no-obligation consultation. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance, no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions of Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. And I am a paid endorser.
This is Brett Paul from Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley. We have always had a professional sales staff on our show floors, but recently have added a few more to the arsenal. Neil Hadding was a salesperson at Valley for over 2 decades. Probably the best truck guy around. He left for a management position elsewhere, but decided to kick back and return to work with thousands of his old friends and customers. It's a similar story with Tim Condon. He spent many years in the sales and finance at Valley before spending time in Alaska, to the relief of many, many friends and customers who returned a few years back. Not a returnee, but a welcome addition to our seasoned staff is Charlie Fink. Charlie followed Neil to Apple Valley to head up the finance department. He is well known to many Twin City car customers after being in the business for over 3 decades. If you're looking for a familiar face or just a face of experience, visit one of these professionals at Jim Paul's Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley or Hastings, or at valleycardealers.com.
Right, Jim Paul. Jim, give me a call, you pill. I got to get together with Jim Paul and have a little lunch. I haven't seen him in a while. I've known that boy for like 40 years, for Christ's sake. Let's take a second and talk about my bank. That'd be North American Banking Company. Talk about knowing people. Bilski. You've heard me talking about them for a long time now. When they opened in 1998, they made a promise to deliver a better banking experience for their customers, where you know your banker and they know you. While a lot has changed since 1998, this commitment to being a true community bank in the Twin Cities has not. So if you're looking for a better banking experience, why not bank with my friends at North American Banking Company? Go to nabanco.com or stop by any one of their 6 Twin Cities locations. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
This is the Tom Barnard Podcast. Listen live weekday mornings 8 to 9:30 or anytime you like as a podcast on the Tom Barnard app at tombernardshow.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Yeah, so anyway, Catherine, I was talking about the fact that a lot of people are saying now, I was reading the national news, and they were talking about the fact that they think Phil and Judd are the ones who set all those fires in L.A. I don't know if it's true or not, but they insist that it was the... Oh, wait a minute, we're on the air?
Oh, wow, yeah. Broadcast professional, yes.
Have you seen these reports? Henry Winkler is saying that human beings set every one of the fires in L.A.
Yeah, I saw there was one arrest for like one of the fires. The big Palisades fire was like a different story, but it is, man, like we were talking yesterday on one of our pods. We complain about the cold in Minnesota, and once in a while you'll get like a tornado might come through rural Minnesota. But in terms of life-altering, community-wiping out natural disasters, earthquakes, fires, hurricanes down in, the Atlantic part of the country. It's, man, I'd rather take a little cold weather once in a while, I guess, is what I'm saying.
We talked about that. And Catherine, we're sitting there watching last night, and it's just burning and burning and burning. He said, that was a good decision a few years ago when you were offered a job at KLOS and turned it down. I'm like, wow. Yes, dear. You're right about that.
Yeah, it's wild, man. And it's like these oceanfront, what I think it's surreal is there's literally $15, $20 million houses, and they're just communities of them gone.
It is. You know, yesterday we were just talking. I don't know if that. I can't remember who we were talking with about this, but there's a house in Naples, Florida, that's worth $290 million.
Wow.
For a house?
So what square foot? I need the square footage. How many beds?
Right.
How many baths?
Right. 200. I don't care how much. I don't care if I was a multi-billionaire. I ain't building a house for $290 million.
Well, so like at a certain point, you know, I don't want to get lost in my own house and square footage. You know, I think anything past about $40 million might seem like a waste of your wealth.
I did a little check-in too, and by the way, there's a guy from, I believe he's from India. I'm not sure. I think he's from India, but he has the most expensive house. His house is worth private home, of course. Most expensive private home on earth. It's worth $490 million.
Yeah,
$490 million.
I mean,
Tevin,
it's mostly just because it's a crazy house market right now. And inflation,
exactly.
It's really
Supply and demand's a little off, you know.
I honest to God remember one time. I mean, I'm very serious about this. When I was, I think, 16, my mother, who's a diner waitress, needs to buy a new house, and she's like, "Oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to get to do this. It's going to be very, very difficult. Tom, we just can't afford this. And it's a nice house. I love the house, but it's so expensive." I said, "Well, how much is the house?" She said, "You aren't going to believe this. It's $16,000.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well.
A little bit of a different time, different situation. Yeah.
Yes, I suppose if you're making $1.25 an hour as a diner waitress, 16 grand's a lot of money, man.
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah. And then just on the sports side with this story, I mean, you guys have probably touched on it, but that game, the Vikings game on Monday, officially moved to Glendale, Arizona, the Arizona Cardinals Stadium. And it's terrible for Los Angeles and their fans.
Yeah.
Like from just a pure football perspective, this is a better situation for the Vikings because they A, don't have to play a true road game, and B, there are so many snowbirds from Minnesota, Iowa, like Vikings territory, North Dakota, that live down in Arizona this time of year. That there's a good chance there might be more Vikings fans in that stadium than Rams fans, just based on everything that's going on right now. It's kind of crazy.
I do think it's going to give the Vikings a much better chance of winning that game. I really do.
Yeah.
Because it's a big distraction, first of all. It's a huge distraction for them. We were already on the road, so it really doesn't matter where. If the Vikings are already on the road, who cares where you're going on the road? Right?
Yeah. And then, too, like, are you, as a Rams player, are you really 100% focused when you have maybe family, friends, and your belongings that are in danger back in LA? Like, they're not going to be. I think this definitely skews things into the Vikings' perspective.
Yeah, there was a report that the Rams cut some media availability off their schedule so that the coaches and players could go back home and deal with whatever they need to deal with. And it's just Then again, like sometimes when these things happen, it causes a rallying effect, and so I could see the Rams kind of riding this and pushing forward. But I think it's the first time. Maybe I'm wrong on this, but I thought I saw something yesterday. It's the first time an NFL playoff game has been played at a neutral location, not counting like Super Bowls.
Right, sure.
Since the 1930s or something.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
My God, and what, this in the 1930s, that was because of the mafia or something? It was because of Elliot Ness?
What I had read was it was supposed to be played at Fenway Park. I don't know if it was...
Okay.
Or it was supposed to be played at a baseball stadium somewhere. Maybe it was like Wrigley Field. Chicago would make more sense. But they were underselling tickets, so they went to a different market. But it's pretty rare that you get a neutral site playoff game that isn't a Super Bowl, I guess.
Underselling tickets to
That's
a playoff
1930.
game.
The NFL hadn't quite caught the people's attention back in the 1930s.
That's a mistake that I've made. I've been to Detroit. I've been to, Boston. I love Boston. I think it's a wonderful town. Spent a lot of time in Chicago, New York, and all the rest of it. Magnificent towns, but I have never been to their stadium. I got to get to that baseball stadium before I die.
Oh, Fenway. You've never seen the Green Monster in person?
Nope. Never.
Oh,
I've never been there in person.
You got to put that high on your bucket list. It's it's not. Target Field is very clean and sort of glossy, even after 15 years, and there's other new stadiums. It is salt of the earth, that stadium, but it's a classic.
God, I would love to say. First of all, we're going to design the stadium So the left field is so short, we're going to have to put up a 40-foot wall.
Yeah.
What? What?
Yeah,
But I
stadiums back in the day are comical. It's fun. Like the Polo Grounds.
Yeah.
The Polo Grounds in Upper Manhattan. Was that the New York Giants, I think, baseball team before they went to the West Coast?
Yep.
So if you get a chance, just like Google the dimensions of the Polo Grounds. It's like 240 down the lines, and it's 500 to center field because it's basically it's a football stadium, and they didn't do the retractable seats.
Yeah.
It was called the bathtub. Was the nickname?
Yeah.
For it.
Yeah, just was 258. If you will hit a ball right down the first baseline, 258, you can get it out. But then, 483 dead center.
Yeah.
You could hit one the furthest in your life, and you might, if you're out of shape, have just a stand-up double.
Yep.
Stand-up double, baby.
Hilarious.
No question. Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing, the magnificent feeling of being at Wrigley Field. I got to be honest with you. The first time I sat down in a seat at Wrigley Field, I almost had a heart attack because it was so And then Mike, what the hell is his name? A New York Met, Mike
Schmidt?
Was it Mike Schmidt?
He's a
No,
Philly.
that's Philly.
No, he was. It was a visitor, so I think it was Mike Schmidt. It was the visiting team. He gets up and hits the building across Waveland Avenue with a home run ball.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I was like, this is like heaven. I got to see that in person.
It's a little more corporatized in that area now, because they've like built up the bleachers, so it's harder to hit a ball out of the stadium. But yeah, for years there was only like maybe 8 or 10 rows in left field, and then that little chain link fence. And I remember it was like mid 90s, and I was watching a game on WGN, and Glenn Allen Hill was a power hitter for the Cubs he bounced around like Giants and Cubs. And Glenn Allen Hill hit a home run into the window of a woman's apartment over Waveland Avenue. And and then during the next commercial, I think Harry Carey was calling the game, and Steve Stone. And they come back from the commercial break, and she's leaning out her window with the ball, like waving to the entire stadium.
God, 30 years ago it was maybe. I don't even know. It might not have been that long, but it seems like it was that long ago. We had Harry on the show. And Gelfand made some smart-ass comment to Harry. I will never forget it. Gelfand, he has to say some smart-ass thing to everybody, right? Yeah. So there's this comment, a long pause, and then you hear, Barnard, control your monkeys.
Wouldn't it be funny to plop Harry Carey down in today's much more sensitive, in terms of what you can and can't say on a live microphone? You hear the beer cans rattling around his feet during the sixth inning.
Yeah. One of his favorites of all time. He was so hammered. I can't even remember what the hell he was talking about, but literally, Harry went, this is one of those situations where if you get too involved, it'll be... His voice got more muddled and more muddled and more. You couldn't even understand what the hell he was saying. Oh, okay, Harry, I get it. Absolutely.
And he would miss, his eyes weren't quite what they were back in the day. And he would jump out of his seat, a high fly ball deep to left field. And like left fielder is 40 feet in front of the warning track camp.
Those were the baseball days. Herb Carneal was not a booze hound like Harry was.
No.
But I loved Herb Carneal. But did you know his wife? Did you ever know Herb Carneal's wife?
No. In fact, I don't know if I might have. I don't think I ever met Herb Carneal in person.
Oh, wonderful human being. He used to go to what's the name of the malt shop again down there in Edina? Convention Grill.
Yep.
Okay.
You see him down at Convention Grill all the time. That's a long, long time ago. But one of the great things about that is Herb Carneal was calling the game, and his wife would be sitting. Her seats were a couple of rows from mine. What, Kelly? What the hell kind of call was that? That call sucked. You're horrible. She's screaming at the head coach,
just reaming him out. And Herb couldn't be more professional and methodical, right? Emotionless until the right moment.
Oh, I loved Herb. Herb was the greatest.
By the way, I don't know if you guys touched on this with Judd this week, but I think the story came out yesterday from The Athletic that the Twins are on track and looking to wrap the ownership sale by opening day in a few months.
Do we know who?
The only publicly reported name is the Ishbia brothers. So Matt and Justin Ishbia are the owners of the Phoenix Suns, and they have been very aggressive in spending money. Now the Suns are bad, but so it hasn't worked out. But they spend money. They're excitable, and so unless there's another group or two that are kind of lurking in the weeds, I've heard too. I'll give you some reporting here too. Some original reporting right now.
I like it.
I have heard that talks with the Ishbias are much further along than is being reported. That those guys have even touched in with Alex Rodriguez and Mark Lowry in terms of hey, coming into the market, what would this be like? So we could have new Twins owners within 3 months. 40 years of Pohlad ownership could be no more.
That's been 40 years already? Oh,
yeah.
my God.
And I don't know that A-Rod and his team are the ones to talk to about, what it's like to buy a team in Minnesota, because last I checked, they haven't finalized anything. Correct?
Yeah, but I looked up the date on that. So they signed the initial agreement with Glenn Taylor 4 years ago in April, and we're still sitting here. I think today there's like one last meeting with the arbitrator, judges, and the lawyers, and then we will finally know after 4 years who owns the Timberwolves. But yeah.
So where do the Ishbias get their money?
What is their background?
I have no idea.
Well, let's see here.
Because I've never even heard of the family. So, to be multi-billionaires, never even heard of them. That's kind of...
they're not that old. Matt Ishbia.
Mortgages?
United Wholesale Mortgage.
A mortgage company can now afford a baseball team.
How about that, man?
Oh, jeez. I got to go home. Wait a minute. I already am at home.
Tom, by the way, Matt Ishbia, his brother, I think, is a little older, but he's 45 years old. He played for Tom Izzo at Michigan State as a basketball player, like in the early 2000s. Yeah.
Really? Well, hopefully they'll spend money on the team. That'd be great. I would love to see that. No question. The Pohlads are interesting people.
The Suns so they own the Suns, and the Suns have the highest payroll in the entire NBA. They are 3 games below 500 and out of the playoff bracket, but they spend money. So that's the good news.
They'll spend money and we'll get our ass kicked. Is that what you're saying?
Would that make people feel better if they weren't cheap, but the team was still losing?
Well, the Pohlads spent money, didn't they? I mean, not huge amounts of money, but they spent an okay amount of money, didn't they?
I will say that they were in line more often than not with sort of the economic structure of baseball. Like there's no salary cap. You're spending what you're bringing in with local revenue, and it was a little bit of because people think that, well, these guys should spend in line with their net worth. Well, no business owner is spending in line with their net worth. They're spending in line with what the company is bringing in, and maybe a little bit more.
Right.
But it's the maybe a little bit more part that they would always balk at. That, hey, we have a really good team right now. What if we went a little further with this and took a short-term loss? And instead it was, we need to scale back the payroll $30 million to right-size our business and then piss off the fans. So
let's close with this because I know you got to go. But look, Minnesota sports fans and the state of Minnesota built some of the nicest stadiums I've ever been in. Our stadiums are beautiful. The people of Minnesota have spent billions of dollars on sports teams, stadiums, things like that. So it's about time you owners step up and spend some money and win some games, for God's sake. They haven't won a damn championship now since, 1981 or something?
Yeah.
I guess it's been 91.
91 and for the Twins, they've won 2 playoff series since 1991. Let's go. Come on now.
All right, Judd, now that you put me in a horrible mood. Judd's not even with us today. He put me in a horrible mood yesterday. Now you, Phil Mackey, put me in a worse mood today by even mentioning that.
Mission accomplished. That's my entire goal. Send you into the weekend feeling terrible. That's my mission here.
Hey, why don't we get SKOR North to just make Tom feel miserable?
Yes, right. That's our date. We wake up in the morning. What is our mission today? Talk Vikings? No. We can get to that later. Let's go piss off Tom first, and then go.
Okay, we'll close with this because my dear friend, and I love him the most, Philip Wise, no longer lives in Minnesota. So can I refer to you as the Philly Dog?
And Wise Philip. How about
and Wise Philip? Yes, instead of Philip Wise, you are Wise Philip. Yeah, thank you. All right, Pally, we'll talk to you next week.
All right, guys, we'll see you Monday.
Thanks a lot. We'll take a break. Be right back in a couple of minutes. Another brilliant report from SKOR North, ladies and gentlemen. You can check them out every day. You got Judd. You got Phil. You got Wise Phil instead of Phil Wise. Yep. So that's good. It's time for Livia. With exciting news, I want to introduce you to new Livia. Livia has taken weight loss to the next level. The same trusted team of registered dietitians, nutritionists, registered nurses you know and love now offers even more tools for success, including the latest in GLP-1 medications for qualifying patients. At Livia Weight Control Centers, they do weight loss differently because everyone's needs are unique. And that's a very important point. Not everybody's the same, man. Their you-centric approach means a personalized, more comprehensive nutrition and lifestyle plan created just for you. I have done extremely well. I lost 80 pounds right up front, kept my weight stable. I now want to lose about 20, 25 more. One of these days we'll kick it into high gear. I feel terrific. Well, like this morning, I woke up a little chilly outside, but I went for a 3-mile walk and just had a wonderful time. I would not have been able to do that before I went on the Livia program. I guess it'd be not quite a year ago, but, let's say 8-9 months ago. But I take these long walks now. I walk on average about 5 to 7 miles a day, and I just absolutely love it. And again, that's something I could not have done before Livia. That's just a fact. That's the deal. Join today, get 25% off Livia's award-winning program. Trust the local experts who've been helping clients lose weight and keep it off for over 15 years. With 9 convenient Livia centers, there's never been a better time to start. Visit Livia.com or call 855-GO-LIVIA to schedule your free consultation. Don't wait. Make this your year to succeed. Livia, we do weight loss differently.
When you need someone to listen, a lawyer you know and trust.
If you've never been in an auto accident, it's hard to know what to expect from the insurance adjuster. Here are some tips. 1, if they talk to you about whether or not you should hire a lawyer, it's a good sign that you probably should. 2, it's illegal for them to give you any legal advice. They aren't lawyers and they aren't licensed to practice law. 3, if they tell you that everyone involved in the accident is at fault, they're wrong. This comes from the belief that you're at fault for just being on the road. That's nonsense and not supported by any law. Finally, remember that friendly adjusters are often just gaining information. They want you to do most of the talking so they can file their report. I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. I hope you're never injured in a collision. But if you are, don't sign anything until you've talked to us.
Find Bradshaw & Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw & Bryant.
This past year has been one of the hardest in MyPillow's history. It's because of you they're making it through. Mike Lindell and his employees want to thank you for your continued support by extending their wholesale prices on classic MyPillows. I got to get Mike on the show, as a matter of fact. I talked to his assistant. I don't even go to call her by her name anymore, just his assistant. What do you think of that? In any case, you got to get her on the show. She's actually okay. I like her as much or more than Mike. Let me put it that way. Get standard classic MyPillows now for only $14.98. Can't believe I'm even saying that. Only $14.98, but it gets even better. Upgrade to a queen size MyPillow for just $18.98. King size only $1 more. Get My Body Pillows for $29.98 and multi-use MyPillows for only $9.98. So go to MyPillow.com, use promo code TOM, or call 800-516-5146. Use promo code TOM to take advantage of these wholesale prices, including the standard size MyPillow, and originally $49.98, now only $14.98. From $49.98 to $14.98, just to thank you. Queens, $18.98, and Kings only $1 more. Not only that, orders $75 or more ship absolutely free.
This is the Tom Barnard Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, Channel 5's Chris Egert, brought to you by Mr. Money Talk. Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation at 952-925-5608. All right, Egert, back to hell off on Kristen Burt. Don't be trying to steal Kristen Burt from me.
I'm not stealing her from you.
You're over there working with Chad Hartman, my buddy Chad Hartman over at CCO, and all of a sudden, Kristen Burt moves over there talking to Chris. Now, watch your step, man. That's all I'm saying.
I am not here
Thief.
to step on your toes, Tom. I promise
Thief.
you that.
Here, I'm pointing. No, wait a minute. I got to point the other way. There you go. Pointing at you now. Thief. He looks up. What's happening, pal? Isn't Kristen Burt... She started crying yesterday on the show because of the fires. She teared up. It was very, very.
Well, it's
sweet.
a lot. It's one thing. It's a one thing to obviously like lose a home or a property you have to evacuate, but then when you've got it happening everywhere around you and power outages and smoke and like survivor's guilt. She probably has survivor's guilt because they're, my place didn't burn down. It's 10 at last check, at least 10 people dead, at least 10,000 structures. Although that's a weird number because that's combining a couple of the fires, but I don't think all of them. So I think that number is a lot higher, but it also might be including a car as a structure, which is weird. But just for what it's worth, I don't know what that. There's some question about the number, but I mean they're just guessing at this point, right? Like
No, Chris, you have to understand something though. That if Henry Winkler says all the fires were started by human beings on purpose, then I better believe that that's probably true.
I did see the Fonz tweeted that out yesterday. There are all kinds of theories going around about what started the fires. Fires just don't start themselves, right? Well, it wasn't lightning. There was not a lightning that they looked, and there was no lightning in the area. A lot of times what happens is either it's sparked by a power line, which is something they'll look into. It's sparked by some kind of a fire, or like somebody was burning something purposefully, or somebody's set them. And so I guess that's what we'll find out. But I know there's a lot of stuff floating around, but I haven't seen anything definitive that it's indeed like some kind of an arson situation. I guess we'll see.
I mean, I love the fact that, of course, $23 million was taken away from fire prevention and put in other areas with that horrendous mayor there. She might be the worst human being I have ever seen speak. But removed all the money for fire prevention and put it to make sure minnows can breathe or something. What the hell? What is it again?
I think the minnow thing was a Gavin Newsom thing, but the governor of the state. So. I just caught something about the minnow thing a minute ago on my way in here.
Okay. And I think they were doing it for like the past 4 years. They've had like 100+ billion gallons of water that they've like maneuvered around. And yeah, this is kind of the aftermath of it now where it looks like, maybe we should have not done that.
You mean you should have protected humans instead of minnows? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but I'm sure that like the minnow helps feed the bigger fish that also helps feed people and, stimulate the ecosystem. So they're much smarter than I am.
They were putting those, maybe you guys saw the video of it. They put those giant tanker airplanes that would swoop down over to the ocean and pick up water and then go over and carry the water over to where the fires are. Apparently somebody was flying a drone and it hit one of the wings of one of those tanker planes, and so that has to be grounded until they can. I haven't heard this morning. I heard that on my way in, so that was around 3-4 o'clock this morning. I heard that. I don't know how long the plane's grounded.
Technology is too accessible.
Yeah, not everybody should be allowed to have drones.
Like, what are we doing here? Like, same thing as like the joke of when somebody posts a clip of their podcast that has like how 10 viewers and they just have the worst take of all time. Same thing there. Let's make podcasting equipment more expensive. Let's make drones astronomically expensive because
there you go.
That is unacceptable.
Right?
People are dying.
You're trying to save lives, and you're trying to get a good photo.
You're
somebody's stupid dink drone gets knocked out. Yeah, I know. It's pretty ridiculous.
Stupid dink drone. That's kind of.
By the way, I read something yesterday that when Trump takes office, he says he's going to tell everybody what the deal is with all the drones.
What do you mean?
Well, that whole New Jersey thing and all the drones everywhere. And like nobody really knows what's going on. Is it even a thing? Is it a conspiracy theory or whatever? Apparently Trump said he will tell everybody what the situation is.
I have a question for you. Have we ever had a president who wasn't a scam artist other than maybe Abe Lincoln?
Well,
does Trump know currently what is going on, or is he saying he's going to find out?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Go ahead, AJ.
That seems very like campaign talk.
Yeah,
you won.
Yeah,
you were like a week and a half or whatever away from being back in office. Why are you holding out? I understand during the the election cycle and stuff. It's like I know how we're going to fix stuff, but I don't want to share it so other people. I can at least understand that.
Yeah, just tell us
whether or not you do. You are a week and a half away. I want to know what's going on with the drones. Just share the info if you actually know. Otherwise, keep your mouth shut.
Well, plus the fact I don't care what's going on with the drones. Leave me alone. How about
If
that?
you lived in New Jersey, you'd care. Everyone's lost their freaking mind over it out there. But
Well, let me put it. I just brought this up already as far as California. A few years ago, I was offered a job at KLOS. Thank God I turned it down. Ugh.
yeah,
Ish. I always thought, hey, man, go work out in Hollywood. Oh, that'll be really. I went out there. I was like, I don't want to live here. No, thank you. No, I had no desire to live in Los Angeles.
well, the I don't know. You obviously talk about the natural disaster piece, which seems to be quite prevalent out there. The traffic's bad, blah blah blah. But you get the good weather and you don't get hurricanes. I guess there's that.
Yeah, you don't get hurricanes, but you do burn to the ground every other year.
Or you get earthquakes, or whatever.
Earthquakes, yeah. No
Did you guys see at one point yesterday when this is but on social media, President Trump and Obama were sitting next to each other at Jimmy Carter's funeral.
I saw that.
Yeah, and George W. Bush walks up and pats Obama in the stomach, kind of like.
I know.
Did you see that? That was the funniest thing.
What?
W is just such a guy.
He is a guy. Yep.
Yeah, it's like he almost flicked him in the nuts or something, like you would do to somebody who you play sports with. It was like.
But I have a question for you. People do know, Democrat, Republican, Independent, whatever it is, this is all a scam. I mean, people do know this is all-star wrestling, don't they?
Yeah, it's mostly for show. I want to know what was said under their breath as they're sitting next to each other. And
Yes.
Kevin, I'll send you. My buddy sent me a TikTok video this morning of what was said. It's pretty funny. It's just some BS, but that stuff was all over the internet yesterday, which is pretty funny. I don't know. I thought it was kind of cool actually seeing all of them right there in one place and trying to read the dynamics of the body language and all that stuff. But
no question about it. And then they were going to invite Joe Biden, but then he claimed that he'd be a better black person than Barack Obama, so they didn't bring him in. That's all he's doing. I was talking about how wonderful he'd be. It's like, okay, Joe, whatever.
Apparently, he sat down by Kamala, and there was not much of a exchange of pleasantries.
That's right. That's exactly what I'm talking about. It's like, I guess that didn't work out too well.
Yeah, well, they'll be dissecting that one for the next 4 years. That's for sure.
All right, Palomino, a brilliant report, I thought.
Hope you guys have a good weekend.
You too. I'll see you on Monday.
Sounds good.
Thanks a lot. Channel 5's Chris Egert, brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation at 952-925-5608. We shall take a break. Be right back. I fought against it, but Bob Sansevere is on up next anyway. We'll be right back.
Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Sometimes the anxiety for wondering if you've saved enough can be overwhelming. But what if I told you that you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? My guy, Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk, can sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk. Never sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608. Set up your free 48-minute no-obligation consultation. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments must involve risk. You know that. All comments and opinions of Josh Arnold do not constitute investment advice. I am a paid endorser.
The past several years have been the craziest in the history of the car business. The pandemic, supply chain and chip issues, all causing extreme inventory shortages that led to, predatory pricing. Some dealers charge thousands of dollars over MSRP.
We never played that game. I'm Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC. We knew that would leave a bad taste in a customer's mouth. More importantly, from an integrity standpoint, it was just wrong.
So what about the current market? Inventory and pricing.
Valley has their best inventory in years. Really all the Buick and GMC models. Even the previously hard-to-find Yukons, HD pickups, and Hummer EVs. Plenty of deep discounts. Many with factory rebates and low-interest financing.
Then it's a good time to buy?
It's a great time. We're welcoming our previous customers back, as well as anyone else that felt the treatment just didn't feel right the last time somewhere else.
Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley and Hastings, or valleycardealers.com. Car buying without the bad aftertaste.
Why should your business bank with North American Banking Company? Here's Austin Bartz of Bartz Lawn and Landscape and Bartz Snow Sculptures.
I started banking with North American, I think, 3.5 years ago. All the people know me by name. I know them by name. It's fun to come into the bank and actually talk to somebody you know. So I made the switch and I'm very happy. Best bank I've ever been at.
So why not bank where I bank? With my friends at North American Banking Company. To learn more about North American Banking Company, go to nabankco.com. That's nabankco.com, or do what I do and stop by any one of their 6 Twin Cities locations. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
What the hell? What are you in a straight jacket?
Turn it. That doesn't matter. It's still small.
Oh, Jesus, Bob.
What are you wearing, a straight jacket? What the hell is that?
Oh, it's a jacket. I'm layered. I'm sitting in my truck because I'm in. I got up at 3:30 to drive, starting at 4 to Brookings, South Dakota. My son's going through an orientation in the student union at South Dakota State.
Yeah. Why do you go to SDSU?
Yeah.
all these fine institutions out there, and he chose SDSU. You could have went to NDSU. Much better.
They got a pretty good flying deal here. He wants a horse background.
I'd like to get away from my father. I'll even go to South Dakota to do it.
Let me tell you something. What a brutal freaking drive. We came here last.
It is a brutal drive, yeah.
But there's no highways. You get 7 miles of highway when you on 29 in South Dakota. The rest is all backwoods.
Dirt roads.
Got to be honest with you. I've lived in North Dakota. I've spent a lot of time in South Dakota. I love them both. Love the Dakotas.
I mean, it's fine, and they claim they have the best ice cream of any university because they make their own. I'm not sure. So I may put my type 2 diabetes to the test.
Bob, where the hell were you yesterday?
Did you have Tim Coates on?
Oh, no.
Nope.
Because of the wildfires, he had to cancel.
Okay, he's phenomenal in American Primeval.
We didn't have him on, but we did have, it would have been the Trifecta Spaghetti Bender show yesterday had you been here.
What'd you have?
We would have had Bob Sansevere.
Yeah.
We would have had Paul Mercurio. And we would have had Paul Castronova, the host of 105.9. He's syndicated all across Florida. But we would have had 3 Italians on at the same time. It would have been unbelievable, Bob.
I'll tell you what, and you know what would be impressive about that? You would have had 3 of the 5 or 6 vowels ending in the O, the A, the E.
That's exactly right. Very good, Bob. Very, very good. But, yeah, I thought, didn't you guys think they were terrific?
Oh, yesterday's show was so much fun.
Oh, Mercurio is phenomenal.
If anybody missed it, go back and check it out.
Oh, AJ didn't like it, apparently. What are you doing, reading Reader's Digest? What the hell are you doing?
I'm trying to look at lip reading stuff for the conversation that we were just talking about with Chris, because now I'm curious. But I'll save that for another time.
What?
From the
Chris is trying to send us this video of the Trump and Obama sitting next to each other.
Oh, I didn't know that. I did not know you were doing that. He could do that during the break. What do you say?
Was it something Trump said or something Obama said that had that had Obama laughing?
Oh, they're like, hey, good to see you. How you doing? You know it's all BS. They're all buddies. It's all a scam. You know
They're either mocking Joe or Kamala.
Yeah. Oh, that was already pointed out, too, that apparently after Joe said I would have won, Kamala doesn't talk to him too much anymore.
You know what was shocking, though?
Woo!
Dr. Jill sat next to Kamala.
Yeah.
And Dr. Jill patted her on the leg.
Oh, really?
I don't know if any threats came with it, but, the word is that Dr. Jill hates Kamala because she was the insurrection to dump Joe.
Yep.
And by the way, where was Mrs. O? They claim what is more important? She had a scheduling conflict than showing the respect to a dead president.
You know what's kind of sad about that, though, lately, and maybe this is why. I don't know why people have to do this, but there's this whole campaign with pictures now that Michelle Obama's really a man.
Yeah, the whole Big Mike thing. Ridiculous.
It's like, would you settle down? Would you leave people alone for could you leave alone for 1 minute?
I will say, and I do not believe it, but I will say this. She is one of the few women to get to her age and not have the grandma arms.
That's true.
Because
got
a
some
lot of
pipes
them, they
on
got that skin dangling.
But I just, right in the middle of a change of presidency, now all of a sudden, Michelle Obama's really a guy. It's like, oh, Jesus, you're going to do that again?
Kevin has seen the grandma arms. He knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Well, people are just obsessed. Like,
yes, they are.
Let the Obamas just do their post-presidential, whatever shenanigans like every other president. Like, why are we so obsessed?
Okay, even with the crappy media we have, they would have ferreted this out if it was true. I mean, they would have looked into the kids. Where did they come from?
I know. Why do people love to do things like that? I just don't understand.
Her mom live at the White House?
I thought so.
Well, it wouldn't be too hard to figure that out. Did she just have a son, or did she have a daughter too, or was she an actress? Come on.
Yeah. There's conspiracy theories that are like, I can kind of get behind it. That one is just stupid.
Okay.
Like, it feels very easy to be like, obviously that's not true.
I had somebody tell me yesterday, I know for a fact. I know somebody who knows somebody who knows.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
That's what you get.
Yep. And there's aliens living among us disguised as humans.
Oh, I suppose that's probably true. Hey, I get all the time. It's like, so you and Catherine, she's not really married to you, is he? She didn't really just cave in and throw her life away on you, did she? Oh, thanks. I appreciate it immensely.
Well, I want to go back to it. Tevin, I do believe that there is the zipper skin, that there are aliens that you unzip them and they're like idiots.
Oh, here we go. Boy, look at the time.
Come on, take a look at that. Look up in the sky when you can at night. All those stars, we're the only ones here.
Oh, no, I'm not saying there's no such thing as extraterrestrial, but I don't think they're wearing, that AJ is secretly extraterrestrial disguised as a human.
Oh, I don't know.
Keep an eye on everybody.
They're those shapeshifters.
I did love it, by the way, that Bob knows. Bob knows very well that his wife's too good for him, so he changed the subject when I was talking about my wife. So I like that. How when it's coming to Mary, all of a sudden you changed the subject.
She is the luckiest gal on the face of the earth.
Okay.
Tough talk for a guy in a car by himself.
I've said this is how I describe our relationship to people. When we and Tom, probably you too, when you met Catherine. When we met, she had me on a pedestal. Now you couldn't look down in the hole and find me. It's so
I understand that. Yes, I do understand that.
So I'm sure with the other guys, you talk all about the Vikings and it's a home game because they moved it to Arizona. They will dominate the fandom down there.
Yeah.
No question.
We shall see how it works. So the game that's coming up on Monday night, that's good news for your Vikings because there's no home field advantage for anybody.
Oh, I think they do have the home field. I'm not kidding, Tom.
But that the Vikings do.
They do. They
I agree with you,
all
Bob.
the snowbirds there already.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
And the Rams don't have a big following.
That's also true. So maybe
I think they'll have easily 60 to 70% of the stadium.
Magnificent. All right, any closing words, brother? Because
Yes.
I'm sick of looking at your straitjacket.
I'm sorry. For Viking fans, and Tom, you remember this story. And he was, I'm sure, a wonderful guy. Don't become an Emmett Pearson. The guy who in 1975, when the Vikings lost to the Steelers, he vowed never to shave his beard until they won a Super Bowl.
That's right.
The Raiders didn't win. He went nearly 40 years, sadly passed away at the age of 83 back in 2013. So he's been gone for more than a decade, but it was almost down to his ankles. He didn't shave. And I think 3 of his 5 kids never saw him without the beard.
And he always wore smocks because his beard was so long, he really couldn't wear regular clothes.
I'm sure he's a great guy, but don't invest yourself so much into these Vikings.
No.
They don't care about you. Care, but don't care that much.
You're a good man, Sandy. All right, Pally, we'll talk to you on Monday.
I live for that moment.
We do as well. There's no question. Actually, it's a nice-looking jacket you got there.
Yeah, I like it because it's got a little brown. It's a Carhartt. It's got the brown on the
Carhartt.
shoulder, Then I got the little other brown one, my Ariat, and then I got other shirts in here, and blah, blah, blah. I'm wearing 4 levels.
AJ,
you don't
cut
go
the
more
signal.
than 4, do you? Any of you guys
Cut the
do
signal.
4 layers? I think that's excessive when you go to 5.
I think you're right. Bob, we will talk to you next week.
Guys. Bye-bye.
We'll take a break. Be right back. Tammy Lammers joins us right after this. This past year has been one of the hardest in MyPillow's history. It's because of you. They're making it through. Mike Lindell and his employees want to thank you for your continued support by extending their wholesale prices on classic MyPillows. Get standard classic MyPillows now for only $14.98. Yes, I said $14.98. I cannot believe I'm even saying that. Only $14.98, but it gets even better. Upgrade to a queen size MyPillow for just $18.98. King size only $1 more. Get My Body Pillows for $29.98 and multi-use MyPillows for only $9.98. So go to MyPillow.com and use promo code TOM or call 800-516-5146. Use promo code TOM to take advantage of these wholesale prices, including the standard size MyPillow, originally $49.98, now is only $14.98. Queens at $18.98 and Kings only $1 more. Not only that, orders $75 or more, ship absolutely free. MyPillow, baby. That's all I got to say. It's time for Bradshaw and Bryant, and this time of year, something that we might not think about, slipping and falling on ice when you're out, or worse, someone slipping and falling on your property. Property owners are legally responsible for maintaining a safe environment for visitors. You can post a caution sign or de-ice the area. Failing to do either and somebody getting injured because of your lack of safety precaution can be considered negligent. If someone does slip and fall and suffers an injury, they have a certain amount of time to file a claim, or you lose your right to collect any damages for your injury. If this happens to you, contact an experienced attorney right away. It's free to meet to go over your case. Contact Mike Bryant or Bradshaw and Bryant at MinnesotaPersonalInjury.com. I hope this never happens to you, but if it does, Mike Bryant is the one I recommend to all my friends and listeners.
Find Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury attorneys at MinnesotaPersonalInjury.com.
Seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Sometimes the anxiety for wondering if you saved enough can be overwhelming. But what if I told you that you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? My guy, Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk, can sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk. Never sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608. Set up your free 48-minute no-obligation consultation. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments must involve risk. You know that. All comments and opinions of Josh Arnold do not constitute investment advice. I am a paid endorser.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
You horn tooting. Oh, look at that serious look on his face. Ladies and gentlemen, Tim Lammer is brought to you by Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury lawyers seeking justice for the injured. Contact Bradshaw and Bryant at MinnesotaPersonalInjury.com. That's MinnesotaPersonalInjury.com. Why so serious?
Why so serious?
Oh, I got these scars.
But does he have a razor blade in his mouth or something weird when he gets
something like that?
What a hell of a performance. Oh my God, that performance is still frightening more than 15 years, 16, 17 years ago. Jeez.
No, yeah.
So first of all, I have to know, because I haven't been listening all week, but how's Kristen doing? Is she evacuated? What's going on?
One of the sweetest people I've ever known. And yesterday when she came on with the family, or at the end of this show too, she teared up. It was very, very. She's such a sweet. I love that woman. Don't tell her I said that though.
She's good. It sounds like her and Bill, her husband, are like, they've gotten very lucky where they live in a pocket where they're surrounded by like kind of the fire areas, but they are, what it sounds like, in the clear. They had plans to evacuate if needed, but they never, at least as of yesterday talking to her, have not had to leave or move anywhere yet.
Jeez, well, thank God for that. I mean, still, though, you're right. It's got to be a devastating thing. And I don't know. I haven't checked into today's news if it's lightened up or not, if they contained anything. But holy God.
Not so far. There's sub-zero containment in some areas so far.
Well, I only saw a New York Times headline that said something to the effect, will the Academy cancel the Oscars?
Yeah.
I mean, is this sort of thing going to be going that far out? I mean, obviously, at some point, God willing, it will be contained and extinguished. but then you have all the devastation in its wake.
Right.
You know, so yeah, this is not going away anytime soon. So, and then, you know, yes, there are so many people that are losing their houses, and, you know, on my radar, naturally, when you're looking at trades like the Hollywood Reporter or whatever, you're seeing Jeff Bridges losing their house. I mean, all these, you know, big A-listers that their life, James Woods, Billy Crystal. I mean, all these people, they're just wiped out, you know?
Yes, they are indeed. And in some cases, there's not a whole lot of insurance, is it? Because didn't most people's insurance get canceled like about a month and a half, 2 months ago in Los Angeles?
They did that? Oh, my gosh.
That's what I understand.
You know, it's going to turn into desert land is what's going to happen. People are going to get the hell out of Dodge.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't live there. Like I said, I've been talking all morning about the fact I'm glad I turned down that job at KLOS because I wouldn't want to burn to death. Thank you. I'm good.
I honestly, the last time I was in Los Angeles, I think 97, 98, something like that. I just really have no desire to go out there.
Nope.
I really don't. And yeah, I didn't realize it was that dry out there. Plus, no water coming in.
We can't have water and minnows. You can't have both.
Smelt.
Oh, is it smelt? Is that what it is?
Have you had smelt, though? I remember having smelt when I was a kid.
No. Sounds terrible.
Actually pretty good, but whatever.
Yeah, but my entire childhood went with who smelt it, dealt it. Okay,
so.
Yeah,
that too. So
that's the big problem.
So the other thing I want to know before we get to the movie review is, have you read about Alec Baldwin suing for malicious prosecution?
No.
Yeah. I don't want to talk too much about it because it's like, this guy is clearly going after everybody. But this is because of the Helena Hutchins shooting.
Right.
Yes. Suing. I would be happy just to get away the way he did.
The public, get out of the public eye with it, Alex. Alex put himself right in it.
He's his own worst enemy.
He is, no question. I love his brother Danny. Danny and I have known each other for years, but Alec is just such a prick. Oh God, is he annoying?
Yeah. I mean, I would love to get. I just exchanged texts with Mike Bryant recently about something else this morning, but I would love to hear his take on this lawsuit he's filing.
Tim, do you ever try to talk to your wife into saying that she's actually, her name is really Ilaria and she's from like Greece? What is that now?
And she speaks with an accent, but she really doesn't have an accent or something?
Right.
I don't know.
That's correct.
Another word for onions.
Oh, that's right. What's an onion? That's right.
What does that thing?
How do you
say?
How you say onion? Yeah. Okay.
And then in off the cameras, Alec, take the goddamn garbage out.
Right. Exactly.
Hilaria, we're still rolling. Oh, oopsie.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
These people,
they just need to not talk, but it's the people like this, they crave for attention so badly.
It is
that they just can't get the hell out of their own way. So whatever, I would love to hear Mike's take on this lawsuit, because I don't want to speak to it because I haven't read much into it. But when you read a headline, it's like, wait a second, dude, you just got, luckily, because the prosecution mess up something or another, and he got the thing thrown out. It's like, dude, you got your life. Just let it lay, whatever. Okay, anyway, The Last Showgirl, speaking of depressing, God, is this a depressing movie? Not to say, the thing is with movies like this, you can't say just because it's depressing, it's bad. It's not a bad movie. I will say, with all the attention that Pamela Anderson is getting for the role, I will say the performance is slightly overrated. I guess maybe because you hear so much for so long about how great she is that when you finally get to see it, you say, well, I don't know if that was everything I thought it would be. Although I will say I'm okay with her getting a Screen Actors Guild nomination after putting up with all the crap that she's done, been given, not done, all the crap she's endured.
Right.
throughout her whole career in Hollywood. I would say one of the best documentaries, and if you get a chance to see it, I believe it's on Netflix. There is a documentary on her, which is unbelievable. It is such of a raw look at her life. I will take that any day after seeing this movie. It's real life depression because you learn of the hardships, etc. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy she's getting the attention. I just don't know if it's going to win anything. Of course, the Oscar nominations are coming up. We'll see if the fact that she's been nominated for a Screen Actors Guild Award, that bodes well for her, although that doesn't automatically translate. So we'll find out if that's the case. But it takes place in Las Vegas. And I talked to our friend Philip lately at Christmas. I called him at Christmas.
Really?
A couple days before Christmas. And he's packing up, man. He's coming back.
That's what he told me. He's coming back to Minnesota.
Yeah. Can't wait, man. I can't wait. It's too bad it didn't work for him out in Las Vegas. But, Los Angeles. I'm sure he's glad he didn't go to Los Angeles.
The Philly dog.
But he's coming back, so I'm very, very excited about that.
I will tell you very quickly, I want to throw this in here at this juncture because it illustrates what kind of a man he is.
Mm-hmm.
When the press decided to go after me all those years ago and I was the worst human being and I was horrible and oh my God, what a terrible human being and how dare he be successful without our help. It's one of those deals. I go to pick up Philip at his house over on Upton Avenue in North Minneapolis. He gets in the car and he goes, Tommy, I haven't told you this yet, but I'm coming on your show now. I said, oh, you want to come on the show? He goes, no, I just don't want to come on the show. I'm going to be on your show every day. I said, what? He goes, yep, I'm going to be on your show every day because I cannot have them talking about you like that.
Yeah. Philip is the real deal, man.
He is the real deal.
He really is.
Yep.
I'm trying to think how long. Generally, when you get on the phone with Philly, it's not a 5-minute conversation, which is great. He's got time for you. He's got more than enough. It's a half-hour conversation, 45 minutes, but I don't care. I love it. So, yeah, that's going to be great. But, yeah, I mean, Vegas certainly is a depressing place in this film. I can understand why Philip feels this way in person. So, yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis is in this picture. She won for an Oscar for Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. I think this is actually a much better performance. She was nominated for a SAG award for this. I wouldn't be shocked if she's nominated for an Oscar for this. Again, another depressing role. So basically, I should tell you what the movie's about. Pamela Anderson is this showgirl in this Las Vegas Review. It's an antiquated show. I mean, people don't care about these kinds of shows anymore. So Dave Bautista, who runs the show, plays the character who runs the review, the showgirl review, says show's closing in 2 weeks. So you have a character, Sherry, played by Pamela Anderson, who realizes, okay, I've spent the last 30 years of my life in this show. She's trying her best to reconnect with her estranged daughter, played by Billie Lourd, who is the late Carrie Fisher's daughter in real life, and just realizes there's nothing there. I mean, she gave everything to the show and nothing to the daughter. The daughter's estranged. So she's sitting there wondering, well, what have I done? I love this work, but I completely sacrificed being a parent. So, I mean, naturally, when you watch a movie like this, I mean, it works on your psyche because, no matter what, if you're a parent, you're always going to wonder, did I do the best I could have as a parent? So that's the sort of thing that gnaws at you when you see this movie. So I will say it has some hooks in it. I just think that Pamela Anderson's role is a bit overrated, but you got Bautista in it. Kiernan Shipka and Brenda Song are a couple of the younger dancers who feel lost. It's a great ensemble cast, and I'd say a really, really good film. 7.5 out of 10 on the Lamometer for The Last Showgirl. I'm not going as high as a lot of others are, just because I think that it was way overhyped for me going in.
I understand. Yeah, well, that overhype thing that wears me out.
It really does. It really does. Hey, if you don't mind, is Kristen coming on today?
I hope not. No,
I would like to talk with her for a minute. I would like to ask her a question or two if I can hang on.
Well, we could probably she's probably listening. She always listens to your part anyway before she comes on. So if she wants to jump in right now, she's more than welcome. But I would love to have you around talk. if she is or is not listening, I adore that woman. I think the world of her. She's just been a sweetheart.
Kristen, Tim here, I think you're the best. And honestly, I opened this whole thing wondering how you're doing. And
I don't know. You
so
had
I'd
to
love to
trample
hear what's going on
my
today and what's
know.
going on in LA, because obviously things have changed drastically here in the last week.
Yeah, so if you hear from Kristen, she's supposed to be on anyway in a couple of minutes, or 1 minute actually, but
she hasn't joined in just yet. So if we wanted to,
well, here we were blathering about how great she is, and she's not
she
even
might be listening around the house, though. You never know.
Exactly.
Well, you know what though, that and you hear this from a lot of these people, and again, I'm only hearing the celebrity side and not literally hearing, but now I see her name pop up there. But, there's a lot of great support going on out there. It's what you need. You really need something to boost you up during this horrible, horrible time. I mean, it's unbelievable. And to be honest with you, I mean, I woke up Wednesday morning expecting to cover the SAG Award nominations.
Right.
I didn't even know about the fire. Wait, what, it start Tuesday night or something?
Right.
So it's like it kind of blindsided me. And then to learn how devastating it was, like, right away, it's like, oh my God, crazy.
I got to get this in because as soon as she does want to pop on, I'd love to have her on. Timmy Lemmer is brought to you by Bradshaw and Bryan, personal injury lawyers seeking justice for the injured. Contact Bradshaw and Bryan at MinnesotaPersonalInjury.com. Want to make sure I got that in.
Yes.
But no, we talked to her yesterday, and you could the sadness in her eyes, and she did tear up yesterday. And she's just a lovely person. Honestly, and I think the world where I love working with her, and to see someone's entire city devastated like that. My God, terrible.
Terrible.
What are you gonna do? But
she'll
be on in a couple of seconds. You can hang on, Ken. You got nowhere to go.
Yeah. I know nowhere to go. No, I definitely want to. Yes, I want to hear from you, Kristen. I ask you a couple questions, and I'll bug out. So.
He's going to bug out, man.
I'm going to bug out, man. I'm sitting there talking like that. I was listening. I went to my son's. The whole family went up to my son's in northern Minnesota for Christmas. So listening to satellite radio, Shotgun Tom playing the 70s hits, man. Yeah, that was the name. Shotgun Tom Kelly.
Where did you go? Oh, I know Shotgun Tom. Yeah. Absolutely.
Do you really?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
He was good. He wasn't a puker, which was good.
No, that's a good thing.
It was interesting listening to kind of like an old school DJ going up on a long 5-hour drive to my son's place.
Yeah, no, where is it? I mean, you don't have to tell me exactly where it is.
It's about an hour from the Canadian border. I want to leave him to his privacy. Oh, yeah.
Man, that's a haul.
It's way up there. Yeah, baby. You met Dee at Lane's graduation.
Indeed.
He was the one making the jokes.
Yes.
About certain paintings at the KC Hall there.
Well, there is that.
We won't say that. We don't want to upset any of the Cadlicks listening.
Well, that would be including me, but it all works out in the end. The cat licker.
Me too.
They should call me a cat licker on the north side.
I said a Cadlick.
Oh, no, some woman pushed her way into the deal. I don't even know who it is.
Kristen, I am so glad to hear that you are safe, but my God, there really is an apocalypse going on around you, isn't there?
There is, and we were in chaos this morning because we had to pack last night, pack the cars and everything, and we're okay. Obviously, I'm still in my studio, but I was like, where is this cord? I'm on a different computer. Like everything is just discombobulated. But in the moments where you have to realize, like, what do you need to pack? What is important to you? What can't you live without? A lot of my equipment, was shuffled around last night. But the good news is that it looks like we're surrounded by two fires right now, one on the west and one in the north or the south. And we had another one on the east side of us. So it's just been a very chaotic week. And I think I went to bed last night at like 8 p.m. I fell asleep on the couch and just didn't wake up until my alarm went off. So I think the emotional exhaustion has definitely hit.
I understand.
So how much is contained anywhere?
As of right now, the Pacific Palisades, and this is not going to sound like much, but honestly, it is great news. They have 8% containment.
Oh.
and just understand that they've had 0% containment over the last 72 hours. So this is great. Altadena, I think they're also in the lower digits of containment too. The wind, we have a wind advisory through 8 p.m. tonight. So if the winds can die down, that helps out tremendously. The great news is we're not dealing with the 80 to 100 mile per hour winds anymore. That was Tuesday night. And I think I mentioned this yesterday. That's why we couldn't do the airdrops. Like those water drops are so crucial. And I know there's a couple of clips going on. Sometimes they can extinguish a large area of a fire with one water drop.
Yeah, I saw a video where like this whole area was on fire and then they dropped the water and it was almost instantly just gone.
Yeah. Because they couldn't do that Tuesday night, that's where we saw the Eaton fire and the Pacific Palisades fire just spread to astonishing amounts. I did leave the house last night. I needed to get some food for our household, after we knew that our personal danger and our safety was good. You have to go outside wearing these like heavy duty fire masks too, just to make sure that you're not breathing in the air because it is very toxic right now.
Well, so how is everything at In-N-Out Burger?
I did not go to In-N-Out Burger. I went to Amazon Fresh to get some groceries.
Oh, okay.
And then I went to Sweet Green to go. I was like, maybe some vegetables would do me some good. I feel like I've been eating carbs, and Sweet Green was closed. And I actually, instead of being mad, and I shouldn't be mad, but I was really happy to see that the workers were home and protecting their own homes, because I think it's hard for a lot of people to work this week.
Yeah.
Kristen,
from my vantage point, what I'm covering is obviously the award season's in full swing, and all the guilds, I think they're treading lightly now, because obviously they don't want to make a big deal about their big announcements, because that would be completely tone deaf. Like, hey, let's celebrate us during all of this, right? But the interesting headline that I read, and I didn't read into the story yet, was from the New York Times, actually, was, will the Academy cancel the Oscars? And I don't know what that means. I mean, have you heard anything? Or, I mean, is this the sort of stuff you haven't even concerned yourself about this week?
Well, it's interesting because I feel like I blame it all on me, but I do feel like I jinxed everything. I was on the red carpet on Sunday at the Golden Globes, and I said to a friend of mine, this feels like the first normal award show season.
Oh, God.
You did jinx it.
I did jinx it in 5 years, because remember, we've had strikes and we've had pandemics and everything else, and it just felt good. It felt really good on Sunday. And to have that whiplash, to see, Adam Brody and Leighton Meester, like looking glamorous on the red carpet, and 2 days later, their home is completely gone. There are more examples of this, but this is just the one that's popping in my head. Obviously SAG Awards, they just kind of did a press release, and, Writers Guild is postponing, and Oscar noms has been pushed 2 days. And you have Gene Smart saying, hey, I think you should take the money from the award shows, not televise them, and give it to everyone, give it to the Los Angeles community. I think there's going to be a push toward this. It's, the other part of me, though, the flip side, I understand like the devastation, but on the flip side, award shows are big business for Los Angeles, and people forget about this, but it's florists and makeup artists and fashion designers. This is big business, and it drives a lot of money toward Los Angeles. Maybe, and I hate to say this, but it might get pushed. These shows might get delayed. We might see them get pushed later in the year, like we've seen during the pandemic, like we saw during the strikes. And that may be the best move, because then people have a time to get their bearings as to what happened, not only just physically with their housing, but also emotionally. We're very sad here right now, and I can feel it. Like, I just always feel like I'm on the verge of tears. And listen, we're okay. We're okay in this household, but so many of my friends who work in the industry are not. And we're seeing the celebrity names, but later on today on my social media, I'm going to be putting up a GoFundMe campaign for a friend of mine who is a successful commercial actress. She works in TV as a guest star. You would know her face. You probably don't know her name, but she and her husband lost everything in the Altadena fire. Everything.
Well,
and they just had minutes.
Can you say her name now or not?
Sure. Yeah. Her name is Kristen O'Meara. And she is a very successful co-star, guest star on tons of shows. She does a lot of commercials. She's very funny. She's a comedic actress. And I'll be putting up her and her husband, her husband's GoFundMe, because they had just minutes to leave. and she and her husband and their son and their dog are completely displaced and need to get housing and, need to move forward with whatever that means. But that was their dream home. And I want to say
credits. I'm looking right now at her credits. I know her too. Yeah, definitely.
And I just want to say that she is a working class actress, like saved every penny for her dream home that was going to be their forever home. So this is not just like, hey, Paris Hilton lost one of her homes. She lost her Malibu home. And that is still devastating. And I am not going to discredit that. But she still has housing in Beverly Hills. So, it's that type of, that differentiation. So when some people are being mean, saying like Los Angeles deserve that, I'm like,
oh God,
no. And, if you don't like Florida doesn't deserve any of the hurricanes either and people to lose their housing. Like, don't do the weird political stuff. It's not the time.
Yeah, really. Now, Tom, you follow up on what you said earlier. What is this deal about insurance being canceled?
Kristen would know more about that than me, but it's about 6 weeks to 2 months out that people's insurance got canceled.
Yes, State Farm canceled a lot of people's insurance policies. Of course, they are a major insurer, not only in California, but in other states. And I think for a lot of people, it was about 4 months ago in total. But the irony of all of this is that we know that the playoff game on Monday has been shifted from SoFi Stadium to the State Farm Stadium in Phoenix, Arizona. That it was the right move to move the game, and I'm gonna 100% support that. It is not safe for anyone to sit outside and watch a football game. It's not good for your health.
Or the players too.
Anyone in the general area, not safe. It was the right move to remove this game. I'm not criticizing that, but the irony is not lost on me that it's going to the State Farm Stadium in Phoenix.
That is so amazing. It's at State Farm Stadium.
Yeah. It's almost. Oh God, that's terrible. I'll get out of your way, but quickly, I need to know. And if you haven't seen it, don't watch it now because it'll make you even more depressed. But The Last Showgirl.
Oh, I saw it. I enjoyed it. I just thought Pamela Anderson's. I thought the story was a little thin. I think they could have fleshed it out a little bit more. But her performance was heartbreaking.
See, now I was telling AJ and Tevin and Tommy that because I've been hyped, I've heard the hype for so long, I was a little underwhelmed by it.
I think her performance is a standout. I don't think the movie is a standout. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, I guess so. But Jamie Lee Curtis is great, and Dave Bautista is terrific. So I don't know. And I didn't even realize Jason Schwartzman at the end, what an awful, awful human being he is. I won't tell you why. He knows why. But he plays a real a-hole.
A real perfect villain.
Oh, God.
And Kiernan Shipka, I adore her. I like her
a lot, too. I mean, and Brenda Song. It's a great, great cast. But I was just kind of depressed watching it.
It is very depressing, but it's actually very real. If anyone knows Jubilee, which was at Bally's for years and years, it was finally closed in 2016. It's kind of loosely based off of that showgirl experience and how oftentimes you were just seen as washed up or aged out, or how those showgirls were treated sort of at the end of its run, and how, Cirque du Soleil came in. It was the new shiny thing in town. That story, or that aspect of the story, is very real.
God. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm glad I saw it, but again, I think I was just a bit too overhyped for it. But she did get a Screen Actors Guild nomination. I'm very, very happy about that.
I think she's going to get an Oscar nom. I'm going to predict it.
Yeah, whenever they announce them. I honestly think a Sunday morning announcement for the Oscars ain't going to happen. They're probably going to push it back. Nobody's going to be paying attention on a Sunday morning. Well, I guess they will because it's the Oscars, but it seems kind of weird.
And we're just not over this crisis here in LA. This is not just like by tonight. If the wind stops, it magically ends. They've really got to contain what's happening. Altadena. We also have the Kenneth Fire, and then Pacific Palisades.
Yeah. So anyway, I will get out of everybody's hair here. Kristen, so glad that you and your husband are safe, and you got one or two cats?
Two cats. They are safe and sound. They hate being stuck inside.
Fantastic. So God bless you guys. We're thinking of you, and great to talk with you and catch up.
Appreciate it.
Tim,
Thanks, Tim.
Okay.
Let me say this on the way out after working with you for so long. I agree with your hat. Why? Thank you very much. Great.
You know what? Let me tell you. Somebody saw this, and my sister-in-law, she goes, "What's that? A Yellowstone hat?" And I said, "No, my daughter went to Yale."
Oh, see.
But let me finish. My daughter went to Yale to buy this hat. She didn't go to Yale. In Connecticut. Her boyfriend's dad teaches at Yale, so that's the inside track there. But
so
no,
just say you're Yale adjacent.
Yeah, I'm Yale adjacent. There you go. Yeah, my daughter went to Yale. Yeah, I'll wear it backwards so everybody can see it. No.
Works for me, pal.
Why exactly? Okay.
Why?
Talk with you all next week.
All right. Thanks very much.
See ya.
Bye. Ladies and gentlemen, Timmy Lammer. By the way, that there was a statement that's going to go down in history. Tim Lammer saying, and I quote, "I don't want to interrupt." I was like, oh, okay. You mean after all these years? Is that what you're saying? God, I love Timmy. Timmy's the great. He was all excited to talk to you and concerned about you and all the rest of it. And so I'm looking at this headline: Henry Winkler and other celebrities think arsonist is responsible for the wildfires. They think all the wildfires. He literally thinks all these wildfires were caused by arsons.
Yeah, and I will tell you that any of the conspiracy theories that are floating out there really are not helpful in this time to people who are losing everything. There is a suspect, and I will say this in one fire, the Kenneth fire, there is a suspect for possible arson. They are investigating that. But for the other fires, we had an unprecedented wind event. We have not had rain in 8 months.
Yeah.
That we're a matchstick right now. And to sit there and just claim every single fire is, I know we love Henry Winkler, we know that.
I know.
But all arson is really not helpful to the people who lost everything too. They're just trying to get their bearings, and hearing conspiracy theories and everything else, or that the billionaires are trying to like wipe out Pacific Palisades so they can buy it all up and, buy the land. And again, not helpful.
But actually, that I would believe, to tell you the truth.
That's what I've been seeing is people will show pictures of like just the burned, acres upon acres upon acres, and they'll be like, "Now pay attention to who comes in and buys all the like." Okay.
Rick Caruso. Everyone's watching Rick Caruso because he owns a lot of land in Los Angeles, and well, I would say this: wait for, because I do understand that narrative is sort of plausible. Maybe wait a beat. Maybe wait some time before throwing it out there. And people have to decide. Some people will want to rebuild. Some people will want to sell their land and get the heck out of Dodge. I think what people don't realize, Pacific Palisades is a very wealthy area. Mm-hmm. However, this is my however on this. So many people bought their homes dozens of years ago. Yeah. And I don't even want to say like decades and decades ago. People are in their 90s living there. They can't afford to rebuild. Right. Sometimes this was a home that was passed down through generations. They cannot afford to rebuild. So there are situations where it's not just Steven Spielberg and Tom Hanks whose homes did survive. It's not just that narrative. It is a suburban community where a lot of middle-class people planted their roots decades ago.
No doubt about it. And I pointed out over the last couple of days that I was in a house that burned to the ground, and it's not a pleasant experience. To be in a house that's on fire is frightening. But I will say this also. Because I've experienced it, you will recover. It's going to be a tough situation. It's going to take some years, but you will look back a few years from now and go, my God, can you believe we got through that? You will get through this, I promise.
And the sweet thing about what's happening right now is that Los Angeles is so spread out. It's not great on community. Right. There's a lot of community right now. And I hope that people remember that spirit as, things start to get back to normal and it becomes 6 months and a year and 2 years. This city does need community.
It does. Human beings need to return. The saddest thing about this whole deal is that people have never been meaner to each other on the entire earth. It's not just in America. It's around the world. Maybe we could all wake up and realize we do need each other. You can't be a jerk to everybody, right?
Yeah, and it looks like TikTok is going to get banned on January 19th.
Good.
By the way, and well, no.
Tom, because you're on it.
No, I'm going to tell you, Tom, it's probably the one app, and I don't know, Tevin and AJ, if you'll agree, where it feels more community-based than some of the other social media apps.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
It does. You can find like-minded people because of the way the algorithm runs. So if you just want to watch pet videos, you can just watch pet videos and find other people who like love cats or dogs and things like that. And that spirit is going to be gone. And I understand Zuckerberg wants all of us to be pushed to Instagram and Facebook, but I think that they're going to find that there will be a rebellion against this, and people will go to those apps less as a result.
Is it a good idea, though, to go to a Chinese-owned app?
The narrative, listen, everybody has our data. The Chinese data, they all have our data. It doesn't matter what app it is. And there are plenty of billionaires. I know that Kevin O'Leary is trying to buy it at the last minute.
Okay.
So there are plenty of people because it's a data mine. That's all they want is the data.
Absolutely.
And they want the TikTok algorithm because whatever they're doing in the algorithm is magical compared to what they've done over on Facebook and Instagram. And I honestly don't think it's about China and having our data. It's not that. It is the other people who have tech platforms, social media platforms that are jealous.
Yeah.
Well, the only problem I have with this whole deal, and maybe Tevin and AJ can talk about this as well, that I don't go on social media much. Once in a while I do, but not very much, because it just, and maybe it's just me or whatever, because I do have an edge as a human being, and I understand that. But everybody on there's a tough guy. It's like, oh, God, whatever. Yeah, okay, they're a tough guy. I'm coming to town. Oh, are you? Okay. See, that's the part of it I hate. You know, you're sitting at home on your little keyboard, and all of a sudden you're Muhammad Ali. It's like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Tom, is it you? Because everyone's nice to me on social media.
Why wouldn't they be nice to you?
They are nice to me.
That's what I'm saying. Why wouldn't they? I just tell them to go F off. That's why
I'm not going to tell that.
And that's where maybe I would argue that TikTok is actually a better.
Is it better
for that? Because everything is like essentially video form, whereas on a Twitter or Facebook, you can create an account and you can make up a name and you can choose whatever picture you want. And then there's, you know, in a sense, there's really no consequences. But if there's, you know, a video and you have to speak into the camera, you're attaching your face, your personality, your likeness to it. So the stuff that you say, you actually have to be genuine, or, you know, there is times where people play a character similar to, you know, TV or anything like that. But it seems like those are a little more easily, I guess, sorted out than, you know, just the anonymity you see on other sites.
And TikTok, the comments aren't like directly in your face. Like Facebook, you see the post and you see all of the comments. Like TikTok, you have to click into the comment section to then read them all. So a lot of the comments are people that are like, oh, I like this video, so I'll go in. And then the people that do have negative things to say, people are like, well, why didn't you just keep scrolling? Like, why are you even here?
Yeah, it winds up way at the bottom and you barely see it.
So it's, I think TikTok is a little bit more of a, or is a less toxic place than like Facebook and other places.
And I will say, in this crisis we were having in Los Angeles, Twitter used to be the go-to for apps, like finding out accurate and verified news sources. But when Elon Musk just made that blue check mark open to anybody, you don't know who the verified sources are anymore. And so I went in the other day just to see if I could find up-to-date information. And it was literally people just wishing ill upon Los Angeles. And I'm like, I'm trying to find information about my area and evacuations and things like that. It is so cluttered now with negativity, fake news, and everything else that I just said, okay, this is not the place for me to go. So Instagram, like a lot of the stories have been very accurate, as well as the Watch Duty app we've been going to. People also talking about their experiences in certain areas, and TikTok has been very helpful. So it's been interesting how now Twitter, to me, is the source of inaccurate information, especially living through a in real time crisis.
No, Twitter and Meta, that's the same thing.
They're not.
Oh, they're not the same thing.
That's Facebook that you're thinking. Facebook and Instagram are like under the Meta umbrella.
Oh, okay.
And Twitter is Elon Musk.
Oh, that's Elon Musk, right?
Yeah.
Is it still called Twitter?
X.
I refuse to call it X, but we're calling it Twitter.
I refuse
Sorry,
to call it
Elon, but and I think that to me is sad, because I thought Twitter before Elon Musk, I hate to say it, but it was a valuable source of information. It's not any longer. And everyone I know in Los Angeles area has kind of moved on to other apps to get that information that they need.
That's interesting because I still do get things sent to me from two sites. One of them I know is X, and the other one I can't remember what it is because I don't go on social media. I mean, I pop on there once in a while, but not very often at all. And I don't remember people being as mean as they are now. Is that only because it's X and the other site, or is that all sites now?
Twitter is super mean. I don't find I have an issue. I really don't have an issue, honestly, with Facebook, Threads, Blue Sky app, Instagram. I really don't find any issues. Twitter, like people, I'll write like a fluff article about a celebrity and they're like, you deserve to die on Twitter. And then I'll go and report it. And then they just go, that's free speech. It's not a threat. I'm like, really?
Oh, free speech?
Sometimes men will come after you and wish sexual assault on you. And I'm like, I take that as a threat.
Why don't you do this? Why don't you tell them, why don't you go talk to Uncle Tommy about it? See how that works for you.
I don't want to give them any oxygen. So
I
just
report
them. And then Twitter goes, it's free speech. I'm like, sexual assault is free speech.
And now the terrible part is that because of certain changes due to people being insecure about their past relationships, Kristen in that position is no longer able to block and like not allow the person to see her content because there was a recent rule change that like you can block somebody, they can't reply to you, but they can see everything that you post and all this. Like, what's the point? And it's just a clown show.
All right, a magnificent show. And Kristen, you didn't tear up today, which I'm happy about. You're happier today than you were yesterday.
I at least got a good night's sleep.
Yes.
So I think that helped a lot. It's been a lot of stress, and I probably will sleep all weekend long because we're not going outside.
You don't have to turn up the heat, anything like that. So that's good.
Yeah, we are like shut in. It feels like the first couple of days of the pandemic. I'm not going to lie to you. Like just inside, bored in the house and in the house bored.
Well, now everybody, of course, because of Chris Egert having you on CCO, well, he's filling in for Chad Hartman. It's like all I hear about is you now. It's like, oh my God, I got to hear about Kristen Bird again.
Annoying.
So annoying hearing about Kristen Bird.
No, you know what though? I was talking to Bill about this. I said, I think that's my coping mechanism is to do like media hits and like talk about it because it makes me feel better. And I'm at least using some of my voice for good, just to let people know what's really happening here on the ground. Because you do feel relatively helpless. Of course, you can donate and be active and do things like that, which we'll all be doing. But I'm not a firefighter. So this is how I can help.
Tell you this. I've had many, many, many people reach out to me. Not through social media, but, emails and all the rest of that kind of stuff that love you on the show and all the rest of it. And I just write them all back. Yeah, it's because you don't know her. But anyway.
There's a reason we haven't met in 12.
I don't know. As all of a sudden I've become a crisis reporter because I've literally given you hurricane and earthquake and fire reports.
That's true.
And every sort of legal mess that's here in Los Angeles. So there you go.
There it is, exactly. So we'll get through all of this. I mean, it's a tough row for you to hoe. There's no question about it. But you're a tough person, and we love having you on. You know that.
Yes, and I will see you all on Monday, hopefully with better news.
That would be great. Thank you.
Have a good weekend.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kristen Bird Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com and learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. I adore her.
Oh, she's amazing.
How could you not? And I don't know why this popped into my head about, she made some reference and about, I can't remember what the hell it was even about, but I had a friend named Benny who unfortunately is no longer with us. He died very, very young, but he went to St. Joe's with me. And I don't know why this popped in my, some reference she made to a comment that was made. So this comment popped into my head.
Okay.
And to this day, I laugh my ass off. We were probably 10 years old, I'm thinking, going to St. Joseph's. And Benny, my buddy, young black man in America today, Benny and I go downtown Minneapolis, and we're walking around. We're 10 years old, okay, just kind of strolling around downtown Minneapolis. To this day, I still laugh because we're walking down the street, and there was a Spanish woman. I don't know if she was Mexican, Spanish, whatever, but she was Spanish, definitely. Mm-hmm. And she's looking at us like, what are these? Because it was during school hours.
Okay.
Right? So she's looking at us like, what are you? She didn't say anything. But it was kind of like, what are you two doing here during school hours? Shouldn't you be in school right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Benny caught the look in her eye. Now, remember, she's a Spanish woman. And Benny looks at her and goes, what you looking at, Chinese woman? I'm like, what? Oh, okay, Benny. You can really make, you can do a lot of separation here. That's really good, Benny. You're really good.
She was like, and this is why you need to be in school.
You need to stay in school to know that I'm not a Chinese woman. That's exactly the point, is go back to school so you know that I'm not Chinese. But, you know. All right, fellas, hell of a show today. We're getting through this whole situation, the fires and continuing to burn and all the rest of it. And Henry Winkler and other celebrities thinking arsonists is responsible for all the wildfires, which is ridiculous. And it's like
every single one.
Flick the cigarette butt out the car.
Yeah, maybe. So we will get through it like everything else. You guys got any big plans for the weekend?
Not too much.
No, I think a little work a little bit, a little DJ gig for a little brunch party, and
there you go,
mimosa, and take a nap. I guess.
I got to be honest with both of you. I'm getting sick to death of the Monday night football games. I'd like to watch like Sunday afternoon. How about that?
It feels wrong for the playoffs. Like
it really does, doesn't it?
But I guess because they added the extra teams now and expanded the playoffs.
If they play like they did last Monday, Sunday.
Yeah, I'll be done watching it halftime.
Yeah, then you'll be done watching it very early. So
I went to bed. I went to bed about halfway through the third quarter. That team looked horrendous that night.
Yeah, I think I made it up to like 5 minutes left in the game. Then my girlfriend was like, "What you're not going to watch the rest of it?" And I just rolled over and cried myself to sleep.
I was right there. The tears on my pillow, pain in my heart. All right, fellas, we will talk to you on Monday. Thanks a lot. Have a great weekend.
You as well.
Yeah, you too.
Family show up in a couple minutes.